Hello Snarkatarians, what's up? It's Jess. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's gonna be fun. I'm super excited. I have finally kind of succumbed to the fact that it is fall. I got some leaves out, I got my pumpkins, I got some game day attire on. So today we're gonna be talking about the new Colourpop Pretty Fresh series that they came out with. A prep, I have a prime and set kit that has a setting mist, a moisturizing primer, and then it also comes with a sponge, which is super squishy. And then I did get the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer. This stuff has come out. I've seen a couple people talk about it a little bit on their channel, but if you don't know, if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Jess. I'm 44. I have been dealing with some dry skin. I'm generally combo to dry. Right now I'm more on the combo side, but as it gets a little cooler and colder and drier, so does my skin. So anything that is moisturization, has moisturization in it, I am super excited to try. This has hyaluronic acid. It also has a ton of coconut products. So beware, if you are sensitive to coconut, you might not find that this is generally going to be suited towards your skin. But if you're not, and you like moisture, you like hydration, you're okay with a teensy itty bitty sheer amount of coverage, then I think you're gonna like this. Like I said, there's a lot of coconut in it. As a matter of fact, what they sell these for, the set is $25. Like I said, what you get in it is the setting mist, the primer, and their sponge. If you would get these all together separately, I believe they would be $31 total. So you do save about $7 there. $6 there. Not this hard. And then the tinted moisturizer is $14. They do have a pretty decent amount of shades. And the thing with tinted moisturizer is people kind of get up in arms, especially when they don't have a huge shade range. You have to keep in mind, tinted moisturizers are not necessarily supposed to match your skin. They sheer out, so they kind of run a little bit more of a gamut as far as shade ranges. So you can get something that's either too light or too dark, and sometimes it can kind of match. You can get it to work a little bit more because it's not a foundation, it's not as opaque. It'll sheer out quite a bit. I will mention this once, I will probably mention it again. Do not be fooled by a tinted moisturizer. It does not claim to be a BB cream. It does not claim to be a CC cream. It does not claim to be a sheer foundation in any way, shape, or form. This is a tinted moisturizer. I've used it a couple times. I like it. It will do a pretty decent job of kind of neutralizing the skin, getting rid of some of the redness. You're not going to get a lot of coverage. I would barely call this sheer coverage. It is very sheer coverage, certainly. And I'm okay with that. If you're not, you can, certainly use the moisturization products, the primer and the setting spray. If you like moisture, I think they're really nice. They do have a smell to them. The tinted moisturizer does not have a smell, but the mist and the primer does. I will go into that a little bit more when I'm putting this all over my face. The blending sponge by itself is $7. I don't think I said what these were individually. The spray is $12 and the primer is $12. So like I said, you're much better off getting them if you can in the set because it saves you $6. So the blending sponge is reusable, multifunctional complexion sponge that evenly and effortlessly, as opposed to saying effortlessly, blends makeup into the skin for flawless application. It's late for me. I don't normally do film this video at night. It is very much like a Real Technique sponge. It has a nice squish to it. I like it. The hydrating hyaluronic primer. Lightweight hydrating primer that refreshes and preps skin for makeup application. Ideal for combo dry and normal skin types. If you're oily, you might want to stay away from this. I do know for a fact, looking at the ingredients, not only does it have hyaluronic acid, but this little puppy contains coconut oil, coconut water, and I didn't even know this existed, but apparently it does, coconut juice. I don't know if that's more of a concentrated water that's like boiled down that the water evaporates and you have a little bit more of a tacky, sticky, moist. I don't know. I've never heard of coconut juice before. If you have, let me know. I don't. Coconut juice. Okay. The primer has coconut water. Coconut, like I said, is very good for moisturization. However, people are getting more and more skin sensitivities to it, which really kind of sucks. But that seems to be the case. So today I'm having some eye irritation, skin issues that might be due to allergies. I'm not sure. So I just thought I would do like a very light, casual kind of makeup look using pretty much everything from Colourpop, because it is an affordable brand. They're putting stuff out constantly, and I have enough stuff that I figured I could do a full face kind of featuring the spray, the primer, and the moisturizer, and the sponge. So before we get into that, if you're new here again, hello. Thanks for joining me. Why don't you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. It has become a little bit more sporadic lately. I do kind of apologize for that, but what are you going to do? I try to upload once a week, sometimes on the weekends, but right now, like I said, it's been pretty sporadic. So, yeah. Everything that I put on my face, I will list in the description box below. Please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this, if you used it before, or if you haven't, if you plan on using it, or your thoughts in general. So, without any further ado, let me go get my Turby Twist on, and we're going to get into it right now. All right, so we are back. As you can see, I have my Turby Twist on, which means one thing: we are ready to get down to brass tacks. We're going in, we're doing the thing. I know it's October, and you know, a lot of people go right to Halloween, so I apologize. This is not Halloween makeup. This is just the way my face is right now. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I think there's an allergy issue going on. I keep waking up with these ginormous bags. I look like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars, and ain't much fixing these things here of late. So anyway, I do my brows on. The only thing I don't have Colourpop wise is concealer and mascara. So I'll kind of do that stuff off camera, but I am moisturized. I am not primed because I am going to go in with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Primer, hydrating. And I like this stuff. Like I said, I've only used this a couple times, but it is really, really hydrating. So I'm just going to put a pump on here. There it goes. And kind of press this in. The moisturizer itself does not have a fragrance. However, the mist, the hydrating mist, and the primer does. And I wouldn't say there's necessarily a large smell of coconut. It smells more like a lotion kind of thing, almost like a really mild Jergens kind of situation, lotion. It doesn't really smell like a primer. It smells like a lotion. And I don't mind that. But it, so far, the few times that I've used it, has done a very good job of making my face feel moisturized. As a matter of fact, I've been having a lot of dryness in my chin area here because I have some breakouts. And I generally use benzoyl peroxide. That's the only thing that really kind of helps dry things out. So, of course, that gives me all kinds of dry patches. So I am not a fan of that. And the first time I used the primer and the lotion, quite honestly, it made things really moisturized. I did not have any flaking on my chin. Today with the foundation, it was an entirely different story. That was not pretty. Again, I know it's October, but I'm not ready for Halloween yet. That being done, I'm going to go in with the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. And this is in the shade Light 8N. Now, like I said before, don't get this twisted. It is a tinted moisturizer. That's what it touts itself as. That's what it is. It is not a BB cream. It is not a CC cream. It is a moisturizer. It gives you a lot of glow. It gives you a lot of dew. But it is not heavily tinted. And I was a little surprised when I got it. I did see Raw Beauty Christy try this on kind of as a first impression thing. And I don't know if maybe, I'm not sure what shade she had. It might have been a little bit lighter. It actually looked like it had a decent amount of tint to it. But when I tried it, it doesn't. Very, very slight tint to it. It's a moisturizer, folks. Can't be angry at it for doing what it says it's going to do. So I'm going to take a pump of it. Just one. That's usually plenty. I don't know if you can see it here. There it is. It's pretty thick. It has a nice consistency to it. I do find that the most amount of coverage, as sheer as it is generally with a brush. So I'm just going to dot this on my face. And it's a pretty close shade match, I guess. If you want to call it that. This does not have a scent to it. All of these products, I do want to reiterate, has a good amount of coconut to it. So the primer itself has 3 kinds of coconut items. It has coconut oil, coconut water, and coconut juice, everybody. I didn't even know that existed, but apparently it does. So I'm going to go in with my brush here and just kind of blend that in. I think it does a pretty good job of doing some making the skin tone a little bit more even, just a little bit. I do have redness on my cheeks. I have redness under my eyes, which I'm going to try and correct with a concealer. But I have some blemishes here, and it doesn't really take much of that dryness away. I don't expect it to. It's a moisturizer, and a nice moisturizer at that, I think. It gives a nice glow. It gives a nice sheen. My face feels, it feels tacky right now. Now, I am going to go over it with the sponge that came with the set. It is already dampened. It's very squishy. It's very reminiscent of the Real Technique sponge. Might be just a tad smaller, but not by much. It's very, very similar. This area here is a little bit more, thinner oval than round. But I'm just going to kind of press this in. As far as coverage, it's very sheer, but it did even out my skin tone. I don't find as much redness or as much blotchiness, even though there's a little bit of redness from a pimple here. There's some here. But I think there's a bit of a difference than when I first started. Now, these under eyes are a whole other beast unto itself. So I'm going to go ahead and do my concealer off camera, and then I'll be right back and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. I did the concealer. It is not covering these bags whatsoever. If anything else, it just kind of enhanced it. That amazes me. Even these lights, I have 3 lights on, doesn't get rid of them. I did a little bit of contouring as well. So we're going to go in with blush. I did get a new Super Shock Cheek blush from Colourpop. It is matte. It is the color No Vacancy. Now, when I looked at it online, it was much more like a very peachy coral. And then when I saw the color and realized what the name was, it made a little bit more sense. So like I said, the color is No Vacancy. It kind of shows up on camera as a little bit more sheared out or more pastel than it really is. But this is bright. This is like fluorescent orange. So it does feel like a cream kind of blush. So I'm going to put this on first before I go in with powder. Just going to take a little bit on my finger here. I barely pressed into that. And I'm just going to do pat, 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 pat. And you need a very light hand with this. But I do like it. I think it's a nice color and it lasts all day. I had no problems with this. Seeing it on my face by the end of the day, it was definitely still there. Just a nice little flush of color. I do want to keep it away from my eye bags though. I believe this is $8 on the website, and that is where I got it. I'm just going to take a little duo fiber brush and kind of blend this in a little bit just to soften it up. It doesn't seem, got like 1 dot up here on my forehead. It doesn't seem to take away any of the minimal coverage that you get from the tinted moisturizer. I'm going to go in with a powder. Oh, that's the other thing I don't have from Colourpop is a pressed or loose powder. So I'm actually just going to go in, and this will give me a little bit more coverage as well. I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. This is in the shade Light. And I take a big fluffy brush. This is a BH Cosmetics number 2 brush. Just get a little bit on my brush and just dot around the T-zone area specifically. And the combination of these two, I think, hair on my nose, gives a little bit more coverage. And I noticed that this lasts throughout the day as well. This eye situation just has me perplexed. If you have any ideas or have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments box. I would love to hear them. I just don't know what to do with these bags, man. I'm going on a trip the beginning of next month, but apparently I'm already packed. There is enough tint in it that it does kind of settle in my eyebrow creases, but I don't notice any caking or gathering in any other places on my face. So there we are with that. All right, my eyelids are primed. I don't have any new Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. The one that I really like and I know is still available on the Colourpop website and I believe on the Ulta website is the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette. And I'm just going to do, since we're doing very minimalistic kind of colors, I'm going to do very minimalistic eyeshadow. Because I don't want to mess around with whatever's going on here. So we're just going to do it very lightly. But I'm going to go in with this color up here. It's very kind of, I would say cool brown, but it's got some neutral and maybe a touch of warmth in it as well. I'm just going to put this in the crease here. I really like, I have 2 Colourpop palettes. This one and then the Good Sport palette, which is a lot of like magenta and orange and a lot more bold than I'm used to wearing, but there was a green in there that just like shouted out at me. And I have a little bit of a skin irritation with some of the colors. It seems like more of the oranges and reds, I don't know if it's like a red dye or something, really tends to, if I'm going to have a reaction to a color in a palette, it's going to be one of those. But these blend out, they're so affordable. The pigmentation is just really nice on these. And honestly, they're putting stuff out all the time. I don't know how they do it. It's like every week they're putting out a new palette. They have those monochromatic ones. They have the honey one. They have the peach. They have the strawberry. They have the watermelon. They just came out with lilac. I'm like, I want a little bit more variety. I don't necessarily want to try and figure out how to do 4 looks with one color. I need more help than that. I'm not that creative. I'm going to put a little bit of this peachy color right here all over the lid. There's no mirror on here, even though I try and look. Still no mirror, Jess. Then I think I'm just going to take a little bit of this rusty color here, and put that in the crease, or the outer corner. Just kind of press that into the outer corner and sweep that up into the crease a little bit. It's almost a nice little complement to the brightness of the blush color. I'm going to go in initially with my finger in this color here, which is really pretty, and then I'm just going to fluff it out a little bit. It's almost like has like a gold shift to it, but it's a really subtle kind of pink. Just going to press this on the lid. And then just take a little brush and shear it out. I'm going to go ahead and take this pale pink color down here, dust that on the brow bone. Oh shoot, before I get too much further ahead, I forgot that I do actually have a brow product from Colourpop. Ay, Dios mío. This is the Brow Boss Gel, and this is in the shade Light Brown. I already used a couple pencils for my eyebrows, but I am going to set this a little bit. These guys have been getting unruly lately, especially at the tail. And I'm just going to comb that through a little bit more with my spoolie. I am a fan of the gel eyeliners. I don't wear eyeliner very much. I'm having issues with this. Oh my gosh. I do not use a lot of eyeliners per se, unless I just want to give like a little pop of color, add a little bit more dimension on the eyelid. Otherwise, I generally use eyeshadow, darker eyeshadow on the upper lash line. But I do like these cream gel liners from Colourpop. I have a couple different colors. This is in the shade Besto, which is kind of like a Merlot color. And I'm going to just swipe that on the upper lash line here. It's a nice consistency. You really don't have to press very hard to get any kind of payout from it. And I have been liking using a white eyeliner on the inner rim just to kind of brighten up the eye a little bit. I don't plaster it on there, but I like it. This is the color Exit. It's just a bright white, and I just like to line my lower lash line with it. Not lower lash line, my waterline. You see how that just kind of makes the eyes pop a little bit, seem more awake. I really like that look. All right, so we're going to do a little mascara. I'm going to do that off camera because, again, I don't have this, I don't have mascara, any Colourpop mascara. So I'm going to do my eyelashes really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished my eyelashes, and I did want to, not to necessarily draw emphasis to the bags, but I did want to put a little bit of that light, kind of cooler brown color under the eyes. We're almost done. I'm going to put on a little bit of highlighter. This is my favorite one. Pretty much my favorite powder. This is the Villains Maleficent. I've used this a couple times on my eyes, on my face. I like going with just a finger and patting that. This is just a beautiful highlight. And then I go in with my wet sponge and just kind of press that in a little bit more. It's just so pretty. I think when you have older textured skin, it's always better if you go in with a finger. These are so creamy, they don't even, again, just kind of go in. And it just looks so seamless, so pretty. Nose, a dry chin. Woo! And then we're going to go in with the lips. I did get one of the Just a Tint lip crayons. This is in the Gimme Some More. It's actually a lot more pigmented than Just a Tint. It's a little bit more on the opaque side, but it feels good on the lips. Although I have to say, and I've noticed this, and I think it's a Colourpop thing. Whether I use a gloss or a liquid lip, which I'm not a huge fan of any brand really. I don't necessarily like liquid lips in general. But I almost feel with Colourpop I get some chapping on the top lip especially. I don't know if that's from the Colourpop stuff. It just seems to happen. I've been using this for a few days now and I've noticed some chapped lips, especially on my upper lip. But nothing that a little Aquaphor can't fix. So I'm going to go in with this. It's so nice because it's a nice crayon. It has a nice point to it. And it has a weird smell. I guess it's kind of fruit punchy. I don't know if it's supposed to smell like coconut at all or marshmallow. It doesn't. It's almost more of a fruit punch kind of smell. Tropical, like papaya, maybe. But it's nice that you can kind of line the lips as you color them in. Huh? You heard me. There we go. And then to finish it off, I'm going to go back to the Pretty Fresh hydrating line, the Prep and Set line, and I do have the Colourpop Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. This has a coconutty smell to it too, but it's almost like a toasted buttery coconut. I don't know, but it has a nice mister to it. If you can see, but it's still floating there. It has a little bit of a coconut smell. So I'm going to spray this. This does have coconut water in it, I believe. And then, of course, the hyaluronic acid. So I'm going to give this a little spray to my face. I think it smells good. If you are sensitive to smell, that just feels nice on the skin. So I'm going to put a little bit more up on my forehead. Then you guys, you probably want to avoid some of this line. Like I said, the tinted moisturizer does not have scent to it, but the primer and the skin primer and the spray, they both do. It's not, I don't feel overwhelming. I don't feel it's unpleasant in any way, shape, or form, but it's definitely there. So that being said, my makeup is done. I'm going to go up and finish my hair and come back in just a minute. All right, folks, so that's it. This is the finished look. It is pretty subtle, but I like the finish on this. I think the moisturizer works really well with, in conjunction with somewhat of a more opaque powder. But I get a little bit of coverage with it. It's all I need. It's not like I'm going to go out and wear it. It's probably going to sweat right off if I, you know, do any gymnastics, because I do gymnastics, apparently. I don't. Unless I trip over something and try not to go head first, and try not to do a face plant into a wall or the floor. But other than that, I don't know. I love the primer. I think out of the three things here, the primer is the winner for me. I really like it. I am going to try it with other things. I honestly haven't used it with any of my other foundations, but I'm definitely going to. The setting spray is really nice. It feels good. My face feels really moisturized right now. It feels almost, I wouldn't say tacky, but there's, you know, a little bit of a tiny bit of moisturizing stickiness to it. And the first time I used that, I noticed it all throughout the day. So I really like this. ColourPop is a really good, it's vegan, they're cruelty free, and I like their products. They're very reasonably priced. So yeah, that's what I think about that. And like I said, leave a comment below if you've used it, or just say hi. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram at Pesky Snarkatarian. If you like these kind of videos, please give it a thumbs up. YouTube wants to know, and so do I. I like to know what you guys want to see and what you don't. If you have any recommendations, things you want me to try out, certainly leave those in the comments as well. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!